Hey all, I did a first thoughts video, but I decided it wasn't really any good. So I went out, did 25 laps, I think, around Zandvoort here. Now, officially Zandvoort is probably a terrible place to test this out because I hate this track. That being said, it's a track where a good lap time would be like a 137 on low fuel. Like low 137, so probably a high 137 on full fuel. So I'm busting out the full fuel, see what I can do. And this is the first, not the first obviously, but this is the first day, there we go, of the Fanatec Clubsport V3 Pedals that the ESR guys got me, and it is much appreciated. They are obviously superior to the pedals I had, which were the T3 PA Pros. They feel very smooth. They actually, not on a performance level here, but like just the design is a lot better, I think. The T3 PA Pros were always like really clunky, although I did appreciate the inverted style of the pedals. There were definitely there was definitely a lot of clunk to them. These are much better in that regard, much better held together, I think, in general. So positives there. The clutch actually feels like a clutch. The throttle is super smooth, super good, and the brake with the load cell is going to eventually pay dividends, although right now is a hindrance because I'm not super familiar with the feel of the brake, but it will get there in time, I think. And it does definitely feel more like a real car in that regard, so that's what we're getting here. So from the immersion standpoint, and that it is good in that regard. Couple of I have two kind of admittedly problems with the pedals. The first, I'm thinking I'm missing something, but it does feel like the way that the USB cable to hook into your computer comes out is like not terribly considerate to the cable, so maybe a design oversight there. And two, the foot pedal or the foot plate is, I find it very slippery. Now the problem here probably is that I've been using a block of wood on my T3 PAs as my pedal, or as my my foot plate. So I probably have just no idea of what a foot plate's supposed to feel like on sim racing gear. So that's probably all that is, and I'll get used to it. But right now it's a bit of a problem. Other than that, I had to move I found the brake and the clutch a little too close together, but obviously you can shift the plates around, the face plates around, and create more room, which I've done. And it feels pretty good now. Just no problems after just a simple shifting of the brake and the clutch to be further apart. So that worked out pretty well. I am slower right now. Everybody's been asking, what do you think of them? What do you think of them? What do you think of them? I don't think I can give an educated opinion until I've used them for a period of time, because right now they're a little bit uncomfortable to use because of the differences from what I had, but also because of how I need to figure out how to adjust how I'm sitting to use them better. They're higher off the ground than the T3 PA Pros were because I had to elevate them with a wooden platform. I'll get a video recording of the new setup and what's changed, and that might explain some things. But I mean, without further ado, let's go out and do like 5 laps, see what I can do. I do have a bunch of setups from Paul, but we'll use the one that I've been using so far to get back into the swing of things, because this is my setup and I feel very comfortable with it. Sure not to disengage the pit lane speed limiter. My knees are so high up right now. I'm gonna have to really work on finding a comfortable spot for the seat. I think that'll become a little more clear when I, just take a little video of the setup. Oh, I did think the brake pedal, the way it's attached, is a little bit silly. with the rumble motors. I think the rumble. I think probably the accelerator has the same deal. I just didn't feel the need to take the accelerator off to find out. I may at some point, because one, I might try the other pedals that they give you, the D-faced plastic ones, I guess. I don't think I'll like them, but I mean, I have them. I might as well at some point try them out. If you have the V3 pedals and you've tried both of them, let me know what your thoughts are. Would that be a complete waste of time, or what? I guess is what I'm getting at. Things feel pretty good. Paul Riccobene is congratulating me on the pedals in our team chat. He apparently didn't know they'd arrived, so he's not been paying attention like a bad boy, but he contributed to the funds. So, and again, a huge thank you to the ESR crew. I'll make a Discord post at some point. He's telling me to put some shoes on for grip with to help with the sliding problem. I have them on! That's the problem! It probably really, honestly, is that. So, in terms of pedal hierarchy, I went from Logitech G27 pedals, which are plastic and therefore very non-slippery, to the Thrustmaster T300 pedals, which were shit, and I would not recommend them to anybody. I flipped them over under my desk at one point, and was like, mid-race, and was like, yeah, we're done with this, and I went back to the Logitechs. And then I picked up the T3 PA Pros, which were really good, but I used a wooden block, because the only way they'd fit in my rig, maybe take off the designed, the diamond textured footplate had to come off. 39.1. Not terrible, but not good. Tires are a little out of the zone, so probably won't set the world on fire here. I mean, I also just in general don't set the world on fire. So yeah, this is my first like kind of proper metal footplate, and I'm probably just not used to how slippery that can be. But again, like everything I think I have a problem with these pedals right now will hopefully just be a case of getting used to it and getting to know the pedals. Like I said, been on this for maybe like a total of an hour at this point, so I'll do a follow-up video maybe like at the beginning of December to chat about it, assuming the world hasn't ended after the whole US election tonight. This lap felt pretty good, actually. Left front is getting very hot. The backs are a little overinflated, but everything's kind of in the zone now. That actually was a new fastest lap for these pedals. Keeping in mind that's about almost 2 seconds, or the better part of 2 seconds off of my actual fastest lap, but that is with pedals I was very used to, and also low fuel. So there is it wasn't done under race conditions, and this fuel load here is under race conditions. Probably was optimal tire condition, or track condition as well. I think it's a green track right now. Or fast track, pardon me. You can find out. I, of course, went too far on the MFD. Not following my own guide. Yeah, fast track, so it's not optimal. I do feel a tremendous amount of pressure to get a lot better as a driver after people dropped. Well, I looked at the price, and Martin also told me it ended up being over $700 after like tax for these pedals. So I definitely feel the pressure to be better, and hopefully I will. Still slipping around on these. Seriously, I don't mean to complain about a gift, but if anyone knows how to stop sliding around on the foot plate, I would be very grateful. That's gonna be the that's gonna be the number one hurdle to get around. In all seriousness. I should. You know what it probably is? It's probably foot placement. I'm probably just don't have my feet in the right place. I should look up a pedal review or a streamer using some V3 pedals and see how their feet are positioned, because that's probably all it is, that I'm not positioning my feet correctly. Still got some fairly consistent laps there. All right, onwards to the quick look at the pedal setup and what I'm talking about when I say there's some things to get used to. All right, so here's the V3 pedals setup. You can see what I mean by moving. So they come default to center here. So you can see I've moved the brake that way and the clutch this way. The brake is not, can move kind of a little bit freely just because this bolt here, this is what I was complaining about. That doesn't seem to be nutted in to the actual structure. It's just held in by pressure. Which to me seems like a bad design, but such is life. Yeah, the gas pedal over there. Gas pedal, I think, probably has the same problem, because I think it's that rumble motor at the back. The clutch does not. These are both nutted in nicely, so the clutch does not move freely in any way. The brake does a little bit. You can see the platform there that they're on. This is what I mean when I say they're higher off the ground, because the T3PA settled in between here, and basically that chunk of wood there is now up, and it has thrown off the comfort level. What I'll probably have to do is just move this chair back somewhat and find a new sweet spot to work with. You can also see the red there is the load cell. That is on the brake. So that's what they look like physically. That's how they're set up. These are the supports here and here that you hear me bang my legs into periodically. And that is something that we'll be adjusting in rig number 2. My God, look how bent that clamp is. At one point, that clamp was so very tight that we had to it took me and my roommate to pry it off. which is, to be clear, totally my fault. So that's what the pedals look like. Yeah, a little bit of in-game action. Like I said, it's probably not going to be until like early December that I really have a feel for them. Bring them in. Oh, this is the. If I didn't bring it up, this is the footplate I'm talking about. That's kind of lacking in traction. That I'm not in love with. Like I said, I'm going to look up and see if there's just a trick to putting your feet on it. So yeah, this is the setup for now, and hopefully soon we will bring Rig 2.0 where we get rid of that, make this wider or whatever to make it accommodate like any pedal I want, and also to kind of not have the computer kind of leaning off the side like that, which is not exactly great. So there we go. Again, big thank you to the ESR community. It doesn't sound like it yet, but I am going to love the pedals. It's just an adjustment period to get used to them, and then hopefully transition to the benefits and become a better driver, become faster, whatever. I mean, the load cell, the smoothness of the throttle, I can already feel what it's going to be better at. It's just a matter of adjusting from those or to those from those back there. And it was incredibly unexpected, the whole thing. And again, I have to emphasize, this did not need to happen, and I still think some of you are slightly crazy for making it happen. But crazy, but I love you.